Hello, on tonight's South Bank show, Lenny Henry presents the history of funk, the black American musical style made famous by James Brown. Deep in the backwoods of America...
No, Melvin, that's not right.
What do you mean it's not right?
Well, it's not nearly as simple as that, man. Funk's more than just music. It's about sex, it's about clothes, it's about language, it's about attitude, man. You know, it's what people like you call lifestyle.
I don't call anything lifestyle, Lenny.
Melvin,
that's
trust
for
me,
brainless
heart.
people.
Trust me. Let's just one more time.
All right. 125, take two. Hello, on tonight's South Bank show, we look at the funk. Deep in the Mississippi woods...
No, Melvin, that's not what funk is about. Look, this is my film, this is my celebration of the funk, so let's kick it like this. Yo, the funk, the sound of the street fused with black pride and cranked up with a wicked sense of humor. Funk's one rule is break the rules, and that funky attitude bubbled over to art, to films, to dance, to where you can't walk a city street without the funk getting right up in your face. But the music is the soundtrack that keeps the beat to set the style for how the funky nation walks, talks, and stays looking sharp. The funk is a groove connection, man, that runs from James Brown and the JBs to Chuck D and the P.E. With respect due to George Clinton, Bootsy Collins, and Prince along the way. So let's get busy from there. Yeah, that ought to hold him.
I hear you, homie.
Well, funk was an attitude, and is an attitude. Funk is freedom. It's a way of life. It's an aggressive kind of dance music.
An approach to music, starting with the drummer.
It's a sex thing. It's a horny thing. You know, it's a loving thing. If the soul comes to a certain level where it's funky, we got, something to drive your funky soul.
Same way you feel after you made love. Same way you feel after you had a good dance.
Sweaty and loose.
Yeah.
It's I don't give a funk.
Whatever the funk is, it's definitely black and it's definitely American. So I've come to the heart of black America, Harlem, to look for clues. Who are the perpetrators of the funk? Where do they play? And where can I get a decent chicken sandwich here? We're going to find all of this out in the funky edition of the South Bank Show. Kick it, boy! Funk as an art form describes every aspect of black life. God, sex, and food. There's references to it all over the place in black music. Pass the peas, give me some more. 2 fries, go with that shake. You know what I'm talking about. And right now we're going to Sylvia's Soul Food Restaurant, the finest soul food restaurant in the universe, y'all. Pass peas, pass peas, pass peas, like you used to say. Pass peas, pass peas, pass peas, like we used to pass them then. There's such a brilliant connection between soul food and soul music that I had to come to Harlem's best restaurant and hang out with Sylvia Wood, who happens to be here in a very fetching leopard skin dress. She's my home. Sylvia, say hello to everybody in England.
Hi. How's everybody in England?
They're very fine. They can't answer at the moment. We're going to go into the kitchen now because it seems to me that, like in black music, they write about food so much, pass the peas, Saturday night fish fry, and we just want to take a look at some of the food that inspires people to create such brilliant music.
Okay, that's what it's all about. Good food and good music. All that goes together.
Now, what's this here that this guy's got?
That is home fries. That's the breakfast food. Home fries and scrambled eggs.
Chitlin.
Pork chitlin.
Pork chitlin.
Pork chitlin. Over there's a collard green.
What's this?
Okay, in this big pot, that's black-eyed peas. You can cook this black-eyed peas with ham broth of less calories. You use smoked turkey wings. I ain't a smoked part
I
of
think
turkey.
the calories is what helps you write the song, Sylvia.
Really are.
I'm going to eat later. This is all making me very, very hungry. But right now I'm going to go into the restaurant and talk to Nelson George, who is America's premier black journalist, and talk about food, and black life, black culture, and the funk, y'all. So Nelson, what's up?
Funk describes many things. The word funk, it describes, sounds and feel and dance moves. It also describes the smell of food. Where do you think it comes from, funk?
To me, I don't know about food, but like it's human odor. Now, good sex is the smell that you have when you're really, having a good time, or after you have a good time.
Maybe with you, but not with me.
Well, hey, I have.
We're fully deodorized when we make love, Nelson.
Well, like that, it's a fluidy smell. You know what I mean?
We're gonna eat Nelson.
Oh, anyway, hey, it's a human body. That odor that it generates. So those are the things I associate funk with.
Mm-hmm. As far as the black culture and lifestyle is concerned, why do you think the word funk has gathered so many associations?
Well, because in many ways, in America, if white was supposed to be good and that was sweet and soft, all those things associated with white culture, white music, so we always had the dark side. So funk was a body odor, and we embraced it because it was not embraced by the mainstream. And so funk is something that it's a dark side. It's the stuff they don't want to deal with. In the 50s, the first time funky was used with music was jazz, with Horace Silver and the Jazz Messengers, and it was also associated with a thing called hard bop. Louis Jordan is a man who took the idea. Well, after World War II in America, a lot of problems just economically. The big bands, just in terms of the cost of gasoline, transportation, were not as economically feasible. And you saw all the big bands, Ellington, Basie, most of them, shrink down. Mm-hmm. He took the idea of the rhythm section plus three horns, and that was sort of the Timpani 5 lineup.
When the dance begins, we'll take a little spot right near the band. Get out, kick the mellow way, just digging the beat of the drummer man. Come on, baby, and follow me. Let's give them cats something to see. We'll be happy as we can be when we start jumping in the Jubilee.
Also, Louis Jordan was a showman. He was very funny, very personable, very charismatic on stage.
Jordan, Fess Williams, Cab Calloway, they had music, they had style, they had attitude 30 years before funk. They came out of the land of darkness, that is, Harlem, with a whole new way of looking at things. They were head cats, you dig? How should I say it? The sharp end of the deep-suited daddios who didn't pick no cotton, who weren't domestic servants. There was a lot of money in Harlem in those days, if you knew how to make it. And these thugs knew all the angles. They celebrated big city sophistication with a dress code and language, or should I say, slanguage, entirely their own.
When the dance begins, we'll take a little spot right near the band. Get out, kick the bell away, just digging the beat of the drummer man.
Louis Jordan was the sassiest of them all. He wore the sharpest black fashions, cut the slickest black dance steps. He put that together to put on a show. You dig it? James Brown sure did, because he was sat right there in the audience, watching and learning.
We'll be happy as we can be when we start jumping in the Jubilee.
Look at this. This is a shrine of the black entertainment industry. This is where people came if they were black and they thought they were any good. This is where you came to test the theory out. And invariably, you got booed off because you were crap. But in the late 50s, somewhere around there, James Brown came here and shocked the crowd and won a talent competition and was awarded, $2 or whatever it was they got. And then in 1962, he came back triumphant, black and proud, and did a fabulous sellout show that he recorded and put on wax. James Brown live at the Apollo. It sold millions and made history because it was the birth of the funk. You can just hear it, can't you?
Because
Hey, you want to get funky? Then you got to have James Brown, the grandmaster of the funk. James Brown took R&B, rhythm and blues, gave it some S-O-U-L soul, and laid down a backbeat so funky that 20 years later, it can still make you get up off of that thing, C-H-I-N-G. James Brown was all about self-expression. He was doing it, he was saying it loud and black and proud.
How big an influence was Louis Jordan on your music?
All of the influence in the world, because he wasn't so much influence on my music as influence on his entertainment. He could write, he could perform, he could sing, and he could play. That's all of it.
I mean, he was everything.
And he could act, he could do it all. Now, you don't find those kind of people today.
James Brown rose from a dirt-poor childhood in a Georgia brothel. He'd be sent home from school for having insufficient clothes. Think about it. And kept from starving by dancing for dimes and petty thieving, which put him in jail at the age of 16. In prison, he sang. It was the best way to stop guys messing with you. And on release, he got himself a whole new career. You see, the funk's about survival, too. Mercy. Hey! I know you're tired. I know you're tribulation. I know you're up and down. I know you're rising and falling.
You bring a lot of fire and brimstone when you perform on stage. How much of it comes from the church, from the gospel?
I saw the preachers, and I was always, I got a very good feeling from it. But everyone has an inner self, and you can only deal with God with your inner self. And I was able to project myself through my music, like the minister was able to project himself through his text.
Do you feel that you're whipping the audience up into a frenzy?
I'm trying to. Every time it has a way of dealing with your emotions to a point where you can take people into what the word is oblivion. You take them into a high, and you can get them to enjoy the stuff and this romance. And I don't want to fantasize, but I want them to feel the goodness and bring the goodness out. And everybody around is the brother. When you do that and the sister, you delivered something.
Where do you think the funk came from that he was evolving? Was it was it a direct line from the church or what?
Well, I mean, when he first started out, the music was obviously very gospel influenced, like Try Me, all that stuff. Please, 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 please is very gospel-y. But when he got into this new direction of music with Cold Sweat and records like that, there was no church in the world that was playing music like that.
You can get.
One of the major reasons for James Brown's success was that he had the best band in the business. They were well-dressed, well-drilled, and well-funky. Ha! The horn section was slamming. They were the cherry on the cake of the funk. This is Maceo Parker on saxophone. BankShow's been fired and hired by James Brown more times than he cares to remember. On trombone, Mr. Fred Wesley, musical director at a crucial period of James Brown's development. Also on saxophones, the elder statesman of the funk, Alfred Pee Wee Ellis, who was JB's musical director and actually co-wrote Cold Sweat, which was the first step to the funk. We brought them together at Prince's studio at Paisley Park, Minneapolis, to help us break down the funk.
Actually, you can construct funk. I mean, funk, if you have a syncopated bass line, as you said earlier, a strong, heavy backbeat from the drummer, a counter line from the guitar, the keyboard, and someone's soul singing on top of that in a gospel style, then you have funk. So if you put all these ingredients together in various different ways, you can write it down. You can construct funk.
Well, usually when we go into the studio and do something, nobody but the horn players had an idea of what was going on.
We're all laughing at you about it. Yeah, that's right.
And the rest of us, we just sit down and put a groove to things, and then the horn players put the horns on top of it.
Pee-wee, Cold Sweat is seen as a landmark of funk, really. You co-wrote that with James Brown. Do you want to tell us about how it was all created? How did you arrive at that sound?
James took me into his dressing room one night after the gig and mumbled some things like, so I said, okay.
This is the writing process. This is Lennon and McCartney to the bridge.
But
so that was he had a feel.
That was the feel. I took it to the bus. I rode all night. In the back of the bus with the light on. I'm thinking,
Did he have words written down, or would they just come from?
he was very good at making up stuff right on the spot. And a lot of times he didn't want to write things. A lot of times he wouldn't write things down because he may leave them someplace, and he thought somebody would pick them up, and then next 2 weeks somebody else record his own lyrics.
Mr. Brown, could you go into detail about how the funk is made up?
Well, I'm glad you got to asking me that. It's something that I won't discuss because it's a trade secret, and I don't have a monopoly on funk, but I do have the fresh recipe, and I'm going to hold on to the fresh recipe.
You have a special sauce.
That's right.
So a lot of times he just write things down. He just put a note, a word here, word there, that relates to whatever it is he's thinking about. Then while he's performing or recording in the studio, he'll know exactly what he means and look at it and then kind of go for it. He's very good at that.
He had the unusual, unique circumstances of being the first, probably not just the first black, but the first rock and roll artist to have complete control, or popular music artist, to have complete control over his management situation, in that both the president and owner of his record company, as well as his personal manager, passed away, coincidentally, within a year of each other in 1968. And Brown had been a student of the business, taught himself the venues and the geography of touring, and he knew that business inside and out.
For black people, he was a symbol of hard work, of being a poor boy who made money, of a poor guy who went on to buy airplanes and radio stations, and became a very big entrepreneur and businessman.
This is Tony Scott reporting Pulse Speed News from WRDW Augusta, a James Brown station.
I don't want nobody give me nothing. Open up the door. I'll get myself.
he epitomized a certain kind of blackness as a performer and as a musician, a certain raw, uncompromising blackness. You know, open the door, I'll let myself in. But always it was with this other thing going on too, this kind of very capitalist business
So it's being pulled different ways.
Well, I don't think it's different ways. I think it's the same. I think he saw his view of black advancement was black people helping themselves and making money and moving forward. He was very, you know, he's very Booker T. Washington philosophy.
Explain that to our audience who might not know who.
Okay, Booker T. Washington was a great, one of the biggest black leader of the turn of the century, 19th to 20th century. And he was sort of an up by your bootstraps type of guy. The way for black Americans to advance was just to own their own farms and make their own food. That was a self-reliant, pull up by your bootstraps type of philosophy. And James Brown believed in it. That's why he ended up endorsing Nixon. Because he believed Nixon was talking about black capitalism and encouraging black business.
It was running fast. It was absolutely running fast. Iron fisted.
We want to be perfect, or as close to perfect as possible. That was part of his program, so to speak, when I first came. You just didn't miss a note, you know.
How did he enforce that now? I mean, was he very strict in the studio?
Well, no, he took your money. You know, you got fined. And that was a way of, you know, you came to work for money. And if you miss a note, you amount of $20, $25, whatever the case may be. That way you wouldn't, you know, you're not going to miss that note the next time you play the tune. You know,
did that apply to everybody in the band? I mean,
that applied to everybody in the band.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes double if you're the band leader.
Eventually, James Brown's treatment of his band led to disagreement, and many of them left to go their own way. Soul Brother #1 had to find some new blood.
Bootsy Collins is perhaps one of the most brilliant bass players ever to have been created on this earth. At the start of the 70s, he joined James Brown's band along with his brother Catfish, and they injected a brand new, nasty, super funky, heavy sex part of funk into James Brown's funk. It was brilliant. Together they cut tracks like Super Bad, Soul Power, and Get Up, I Feel Like Being a Sex Machine. And somewhere in Wapping, the funk is happening. Will you please welcome Mr. Bootsy Collins? Hit it, baby.
Talk about funk and drive and a bass player, you got to be talking about Bootsy, man. Like I say, he had a different concept of playing his instrument. So he played that bass, but he played that line, but he played that line the way Bootsy heard that line. And what I did was, it took a little time, but I fell into, I could hear what he was doing. It's like I hear the horns play. I heard what he was doing. And what he was doing, man, is what you call up the country thumping. That's just no lie, man. I mean, country thumping. That's it. I mean, the man, when he started playing, man, everything, and when you sit in the groove, everything moved. That's all it was. So I can say, I just don't know how to explain it any other way. Did he have the attitude as well? The kind of energy that he brought to the funk was infectious, and to bring everybody's funk level up a notch. You know? I mean, you just had to fall in with it or get run over back. Yeah,
It's time to put some bass in that bottom, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Hit me now. And don't be so horny, horn. Fred, hit me. Bebop and boogie woogie boogie. Hey, getting ready to roll. Hey, come on. A jungle boogie baby.
We've heard a lot throughout the filming that we've done about the one. And nobody's really kind of defined it truly. Could you explain to people who don't know about the one and funk what it is?
Well, what I got from it, James was explaining to me, is like when I came to the band, we were like playing a bunch of crazy lines, lead lines. And James said, wait a minute, whoa. You know, okay, wait a minute, man, where's the one? And I'm saying, one, okay. What does he mean, where's the one? So he started doing a thing like, So I said, he said, you hear where that is at? I said, yeah. He said, that's the one. I said, oh, so you mean something like, Say what? Them more hits, man. That's the one. That's the one. I said, oh, I think I understand. Okay, that's it.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one.
It would be, you hit the one to say we're here, but the two would be the lick that the band, the horns will hit. So the two would be the horns. That's the one.
So when they say everything is on the one,
that means you're right on top of it. You're on top of the beat.
He kind of kept everybody in focus with that, because if you don't know where that one is at, you know, it's like you kind of everywhere. You know, it's just like speaking in tongues. And those who have ears hear, and those that don't get funked up.
Yeah.
Good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your television set. There is nothing wrong. We have taken control as to bring you this special part 2. We will return it to you as soon as you are grooved. In the early 70s, the funk changed direction and went psychedelic. Picking up where James Brown left off was Mr. George Clinton, also known as Dr. Funkenstein, the extraterrestrial brother, the chocolate-covered freak in human habit form. Hey, George figured, the funk belongs to us all. So he ransacked James Brown's band. He borrowed the best of the boss's musicians, and together they worked on a new groove. The funk came out dancing.
Make mine the P-funk. I want my funk uncut. Yeah, make my funk the P-funk. I want to get funked up. I want the P-funk. Yeah. Make mine the P. Make my funk the P-funk. Yeah, W-E-F.
Could you tell us what the P stands for in P-Funk?
Pure, uncut, as in no part water, all funk. You know, not diluted. P-Funk is that attitude that you don't have to be organized. You don't have to, you know, it's like blues guys walk with keys just in and just start playing.
Make mine the P-Funk. Make my funk the P-Funk.
When I first went with George Clinton, the first record I did with him, I asked him, I said, well, what kind of horn rims do you want? And he said, something bad. The groundwork had been laid. I mean, the theory of one chord being okay, you can get a groove, if you can vary a tune by just using one chord, by using different accents and different chord voices and things like that. That had always been established by P.V. Ellis and James Brown and Nat Jones and all these people. But now George Clinton came and gave it a different type of wildness. I mean, it was a little more involved funk musically, because Bootsy
made some more intricate bass lines.
There's a lot of chocolate cities around. We've got Newark, we've got Gary. Somebody told me we got L.A. And we're working on Atlanta.
You spearheaded two bands, Funkadelic and Parliament. Could you give us a description of why they differed? What was the difference between Funkadelic and Parliament?
Funkadelic was a black version of a rock band type of situation, playing funky music with the same kind of, electronics with Jimi Hendrix, Led Zeppelin, Cream, and all of that. That was Funkadelic. That is Funkadelic. Lots of noise, and not necessarily organized background. Parliament, on the other hand, since it was a vocal group from the beginning, we put our attention more into the layers of vocals, organized harmonies and horn parts, really sophisticated. Bernie Worrell, Fred Wesley, from the James Brown horny horns, the JBs, which came to us through Bootsy. So we got all of the JB sound of James Brown mixed with Funkadelic, and you get that Parliament sound.
And when they come to march on you, tell them to make sure they got their James Brown tag. And don't be surprised if Ali is in the White House. And Reverend Ike, Secretary of the Treasury. Richard Pryor, Minister of Education. Stevie Wonder, Secretary of Fine Arts. And Miss Aretha Franklin, the First Lady. Are you out there?
What was the attraction of working with George? Why did you want to work with him?
Because I want to be just as wild and crazy as he is. And, I never made it to be as wild and crazy as he is, but I love reaching for it, He's definitely been an inspiration to me, and just everything. Him and James, those two are like two extremes, James he's extreme on his side, which he takes his business, he's on it, he's this, that's where I got that part of it from. And George is loose. And I love both of them, both of them got the really great points, and I love it. I just happen to get caught in the middle of it.
Dr. Funkenstein here, preoccupied and dedicated to the preservation of the motion of hip.
George was the ringmaster. George doesn't play instruments that I know of. He can't sing. But George was a guy who was a catalyst. None of these guys he had together have did as interesting work since they left him. Even Bernie Worrell and Junie Morrison, all these great talents. He just had a way. He just got them all together. And he also had this concept. That's the other thing that he brought to it. It was different from James Brown. And it's a very important difference between the 60s and 70s in general, is that he conceptualized, we'll have spaceships come down. We'll have, Dr. Funkenstein, we have weird names. We have all kinds of code names. Our album covers will have all of these different graphics which give all these different code words we have. Those are things. James was basically a musician with a very sort of traditional capitalist point of view. George was was more of an anarchist. Put your hands together, y'all, goddamn! Everybody say this, goddamn!
A1 crazoids, knuckleheads, and freakolines. Blow the cobwebs out your mind, because we hit to the clone zone with your passport to P-Funk, the guide to the good groove, the bomb for beginners. So you want to join Uncle Jam's army? Got your sunglasses on? The first thing you need is a far-reaching tube, because this is Funk Central, where anything can happen and will still be cool. To attain maximum funkativity, you need to parlay with your fellow doo-doo chasers. So get yourself a vocabulary. Tap into the terminology of the terminally splanked. To check out the booziest prospects of the Chocolate City, you gotta have a funkmobile, a gas-drinking, wallet-shrinking alley cruiser. Now arm yourself with a bop gun, back it up with a flashlight, and prepare to do battle with Sir Nose devoid of funk. You gotta get him over the hump. And finally, beware the Pinocchio theory. Don't fake the funk or your nose gots to grow. Well, all right. Now you funkin'. You freed your mind and your ass done follow.
So One Nation Under the Groove was about the uniting of everybody under one roof, yeah?
Everybody on the one, the whole universe on the same pulse. You know what I'm saying? All things is on the one with the universe.
At the end of the 70s, the funk took a new direction.
Speaking the funkiest dude around is us. But he's got that attitude, he's got the ability to pull it off, and he's got the nerve.
Well, the first thing about Prince, he's a magnificent musician. Prince can play damn near every instrument and play it well. So he respects musicians, he respects music. And he plugs in profoundly to the ideas of James Brown and then P-Funk. And they're all right through all out his music. I see him as like a distillation of all those guys, but in one body. I mean, and the thing about, again, with using technology as a touchstone, he can do everything that James Brown and P-Funk were able to do by himself.
I heard the riff when you sat down. Honey, them hits are gone, but that's alright. I clock them that way. Mind me of something James used to say. I like them fat. I like them proud. You gotta have a mother for me. Now move your big ass around this way so I can work on that zip.
By the end of the 80s, the funk was living in a state of siege. 23% of African American males between the age of 20 and 29 are under penal supervision. 50% of those under 18 live below the poverty line. And crack cocaine holds entire neighborhoods to ransom. The inner cities are a war zone. Brothers and sisters cut down in the streets. Funk fights back. Public Enemy, X-Clan, Ice-T, the Zulu Nation, KRS-One, they won't lie down. The body count mounts, but we will get our 40 acres and a mule. Because the funk fights back, y'all.
The impact of the music and the impact of the politics go hand in hand. PE is just another good rap group without that. You know what I mean? Well, unless they have the political thing, they're a really great rap group, or interesting rap group. But politics and the power that brings and makes their message, means they're not just rapping about to be rapping. They're rapping about something, they have a message they're presenting.
Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud, and, a lot of people wasn't really calling themselves black here in America until James Brown came out with that record.
Was it just the music with James, or was there something else about him that you liked?
James Brown was a strong black man. Kicked it.
And the thing about rap that gives him an advantage is that rap has so many words.
Yeah.
There's so much more you can say in rap.
Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant shit to me. If he's straight out racist, the sucker was simple and plain. Motherfucking in John Wayne. Cause I'm black and I'm proud. I'm ready, I'm hyped cause I'm amped. Most of my heroes don't appear no stamp. Sample looks at you looking find nothing but redneck for 400 years if you check.
You've got a military guard on stage. Why is that?
Because none of us can dance. Nah, all of us can dance. I mean, we're black, right? No, but anyway, we decided to do something different,
Why a military guard, though?
We as black people on this planet have always been giving and been caring people. But also we've had our ass kicked. And, it basically stands for I'm not having my ass kicked no more. And being that we've lost everything that we've had on this planet has been as a result of the European use of the gun. So we use it as a symbolic gesture that we're not to be fucked around with anymore.
Gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Our freedom of speech and freedom of speech. We got to fight the power that be. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power.
What James Brown and George Clinton had done is serve as radio stations or small TV stations, a looking glass at a black perspective and a black reflection, and kicked it out through the expression of words. So it was basically like a beating of the drum, but the words saying, this is how we felt, this is what we see, and this is how we're going to deal with it, and this is what you should do. Or this is how you should look at us, because we're people too. And I think the Public Enemy thing is just taking it to, I shouldn't say one step further, but I should say has continued that on in the 90s, along with every other rapper that's out there, because it's all derivative off of James Brown, George Clinton thing.
Fight the power. Fight the power. We got to fight the power that be.
The worst thing that happened with hip-hop is you had a bunch of guys walking around, grabbing their Johnson, going, I'm the man, I got the rap for you. And they just talking back and forth in sweatsuits. Hammer did a very important thing for black culture at this time, that he brought back dancing as an expression of showmanship. He brought James Brown moves like the mashed potato, things like that, the camel walk, and mixed them with contemporary hip-hop dance steps. To a wonderful fusion. I mean, Hammer's going to be big when you saw his video. If he could bring that, what's on the video, to the stage, he was going to win, and he did. So he brought that James Brown energy into the 90s, and for that, that's why I think as much as anything else, that's why he's successful.
I used to imitate all of his dances when I was a very small kid, when I was 3 or 4 years old, and all the way till today. The big band that I have, the big production, they're all things that James Brown had in his heyday. And certainly the longevity of his music and things like that are things that inspire me.
One, two, three, four. Yeah. There's a thing that's going to
at the end, yeah.
When I understood that we're going to have Bootsy and Jabble and all of us, and maybe Clyde and a few other extremely funky people, I thought we put together a new tune.
They're hard to play. We can always start that. We do 4 bars of rap.
This tune originated in England when I was watching English television, and everybody was talking about this lady has her toy boy, and this lady has her toy boy,
funk happening now, live in the studio. Fred Wesley has written this track called Toy Boy, and it's really happening. They put the guitars down, the bass is down, it's funky, it's fresh, it's happening live in the studio. We have been anointed by the funk. We have had the funk spirit put inside of us. We have had some funkiness laid down on our funky souls. Ladies and gentlemen, can I get an amen? Yeah. I think, can I get an amen? The funk is happening now live in the studio.
Well, we got a funky track, okay? We got a really good. And these are really, really nice words, but we ain't got nobody to sing this, man. Maybe I can sing it, huh? No, Fred. No, Fred, we heard you sing. No. Maybe Lenny can sing it.
I can help.
Here we go. Roll the tape, Dave. Vocal overdub. We are doing it.
Whatever the season, winter, spring, or summer, it all comes back to the funky drummer. Hit it. Let me take you right back to Cap Calloway. At the Cotton Club, he really led the way. Had a big band sound and the hippest moves. Those Harlem boys, they really had the groove. With Louis Jordan and the Timpani Fine, they played one song, make you glad to be alive. We got these guys in the chronology because they're real important to the history. Without them, we would have never got down because they influenced Mr. James Brown.
Now let's call the king of soul himself, James Brown.
Catch lightning in a bottle and watch it move. You watching James Brown down in the groove. When he slides to the left, he makes the crowd roar. Jamming with the JVs, make you scream for more. From Live at the Apollo to Sex Machine, the baddest soul brother you've ever seen. Make you dance till the sweat runs down your face. Put on a James Brown tune and you'll rock the place.
Everybody do what you like. Everybody do what you like.
Whatever the season, winter, spring, or summer, it all comes back to the funky drummer. Hit it. But in the meantime, there were pretenders to the throne like Hendrix and Who, Sly Stone, the Ohio Players, the Fatback Band, all doing the do. Funk was in demand. In the mid-70s and the disco boom, it was time for a new face to enter the room. A brother in a spaceship, to be precise, wearing platform boots floating high as a kite.
Preoccupied and dedicated to the preservation of the motion of him.
George Clinton was his name with the P-Funk crew. His special invitation, may we funk you. Mothership Connection, he started a trip. It was blacker than black, hipper than hip. They put on a show that was totally wild. It was Maceo, Bootsy, the band, and Star Child. They took us to another galaxy, inventing new words for the funk vocabulary. Good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your radio. There is nothing wrong. The name is Bootsy, baby. Whatever the season, winter, spring, or summer, it all comes back to the funky drummer. Hit it. Keep busted. Friends, I don't believe. Friends.
it one more time, baby.
Shut up already. Damn.
Run it down for you like this. For you, Dirty Mind and Purple Rain kept you on your feet, nearly drove you insane. Then the big one, 1999. After that parade and sign of the times.
Oh, yeah. Yes, girl.
But in the 90s, hip-hop got strong. Yesterday's beats, today's songs. Sampling the world and putting it on wax. Creating new and exciting tracks. Every James Brown, Howl, Grunt, and Moan became a brand new thing all on its own. For Public Enemy, James was the man of the hour. Funky drummer with the beat for Fight the Power. De La Soul were at the top of the heap. You, Myself, I, you know they took from me deep. And George Clinton provides most of the sound for bands like X-Clan and Digital Underground. These bands wouldn't take just any junk. They want the real deal. Uncut funk. But sad to say, it's the end of the show. But remember this, y'all. Don't fake the funk, or your nose got to grow.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next United States Heavyweight Champion, Ravishing Red Ram!
Next Friday, 6 o'clock live, is getting into the ring with these larger-than-life gladiators from the world of American wrestling.
Win a trip to Euro Disney, and we've Second Thought stars James Bolam and Linda Bellingham.
That's next Friday, an action-packed 6 o'clock live.
It's gonna be like thunder and lightning, and the hammer energy is gonna flow right through you!
Our movie next this evening is a true life tale of courage, the Anne Gilliam story.
Only one ferry operator can take you and your car
Hi-ho!
on a dream cruise.